On the final day of a fading search, hope was nearly gone. The air was thick with exhaustion and resignation, as if the forest itself had absorbed the weight of so many fruitless days. Each morning, the search teams had set out with determination, but as the weeks dragged on, optimism had slowly drained away, replaced by a quiet sense of defeat. For 3 relentless months, law enforcement officers, volunteers, and search dogs scoured the unforgiving Washington wilderness for Travis Decker, a wanted man who had vanished without a trace. The terrain was treacherous, thick undergrowth, steep ravines, and endless miles of towering trees. Every day, the team pushed deeper, battling fatigue, rain, and the gnawing uncertainty of whether their efforts would ever pay off. Then, on September 18, 2025, just as the search was about to be called off, a drone made a crucial discovery that would change everything. High above the dense forest, the drone operator scanned the endless canopy, eyes glued to the monitor. Suddenly, he spotted a flash of electric green, a color that didn't belong in the sea of moss and pine. It was a jarring contrast, a single unnatural hue in a world of green and brown. Zooming in, he realized it was a neon green t-shirt, partially hidden by tangled undergrowth and forest debris. The shirt was wedged between branches, its color dulled by dirt but still unmistakable against the muted forest floor. Investigators immediately recognized its significance. Decker had last been seen wearing a shirt of that exact color. The discovery sent a jolt of adrenaline through the team, reigniting hope that had nearly vanished. The shirt was embedded in debris, nearly impossible to spot from the ground. It was as if the forest itself had tried to swallow the evidence, hiding it from all but the most persistent eyes. Only the drone's camera, soaring high above the treetops, could have found it. Technology had succeeded where human eyes and feet could not. This was the first real clue in weeks, a beacon in the wilderness, a single thread to pull in a tapestry of uncertainty. It was a sign that the search had not been in vain. The drone had pinpointed a specific location in an overwhelming expanse, narrowing the search from thousands of acres to a single promising spot. The coordinates were relayed instantly, and the team mobilized with new urgency. The search had been like looking for a needle in a haystack, but now, for the first time, they had found the needle. The impossible suddenly seemed possible. The drone's sighting gave the team a precise target, transforming the search from a desperate sweep to a focused mission. Spirits lifted as the team prepared to move in. For the first time in months, investigators had a tangible lead. The energy in the air shifted, fatigue replaced by anticipation, doubt by determination. The glimmer of green was more than fabric. It was a glimmer of hope. It was proof that even in the darkest places, something bright can still be found. The discovery promised answers for a grieving family and a shocked community, who had waited for months with heavy hearts and unanswered questions. Now, at last, there was a reason to believe. The long, painful search might finally be drawing to a close. As the sun set over the forest, hope flickered back to life, carried on the wings of a drone and the determination of those who refused to give up. The drone's discovery led to a place few ever visit, a remote section of the Wenatchee Mountains deep in the heart of Washington state. This is a region where the land itself seems to resist intrusion, a wild expanse that has remained largely untouched by human hands. There are no marked trails, no scenic overlooks, and no signs of civilization. Just steep, rocky slopes and thick, tangled brush that seem to stretch endlessly in every direction. The terrain is so unforgiving that even experienced hikers think twice before venturing here. Sheriff Mike Morrison called it very rugged, a landscape where a person could vanish forever, swallowed up by the sheer scale and wildness of the mountains. The area's remoteness and natural obstacles make it a place where few would willingly go. The T-shirt's location was less than a mile from where Decker's daughters were found, but the climb to reach it was brutal. The ground was slick with loose rocks, and every step forward meant pushing through dense, thorny undergrowth. The elevation rose sharply, from 2,800 to over 4,000 feet, making the hike a grueling 3-hour ordeal for even the fittest searchers. The air thinned as they climbed, and the temperature dropped, adding another layer of difficulty to an already punishing journey. Above, the dense forest canopy blocked out the sun, casting the ground below in perpetual shadow. The thick undergrowth made both aerial and ground searches nearly impossible, hiding any sign of human presence beneath a blanket of green. For months, this wilderness had hidden Decker, acting almost like his accomplice. The forest's secrets were well kept, its hidden nooks and crannies providing endless places to disappear. Search teams had previously scoured the area, but the sheer scale and difficulty were overwhelming. Exhaustion set in quickly, and the sense of isolation was absolute. Every thicket, every narrow ravine was a potential hiding place, each one capable of concealing vital clues or even a person for weeks on end. The drone's find changed everything, narrowing the search from a vast, intimidating mountain range to a single, promising point. For the first time, hope flickered among the searchers. Now, authorities had a real chance to close in, focusing their efforts with renewed determination. The sense of urgency was palpable as they pressed forward, determined not to let the wilderness win. After months of searching, the wilderness had finally given up one of its secrets, a hidden spot that might hold the answers everyone had been seeking. With the T-shirt's location finally confirmed after days of searching, the team knew they were close to a breakthrough. But the real challenge was just beginning. The area was a maze of steep ridges and thick, tangled forest, making any approach on foot nearly impossible. Reaching the site would require both creativity and courage. Hiking in was not just slow, it was dangerous. The risk of injury to officers or disturbing crucial evidence was simply too high. The team needed another way in. The answer came in the form of a specialized helicopter from Spokane County, equipped for technical rescues in the most unforgiving terrain. Its crew was highly trained for exactly these kinds of missions. Hovering above the treetops, officers rappelled down through swirling mountain winds, maneuvering between branches and dense foliage. Every movement was calculated, every second in the air critical. They touched down in a tiny clearing, barely large enough for the team, surrounded by thick brush that had kept the site hidden for so long. The sense of anticipation was palpable. The neon green T-shirt, a beacon among the shadows, was quickly spotted. But as the team looked closer, they realized there was more to uncover. Scattered nearby were other personal items, each one a clue, each one confirming their growing suspicion. The evidence pointed to one heartbreaking conclusion. They had likely found Travis Decker. The recovery operation was painstaking. Every item was documented, photographed, and handled with the utmost care to preserve even the smallest detail. The team worked in near silence, aware of the gravity of the moment. The remains, exposed to the elements for months, were badly decomposed. Forensic experts set up a makeshift tent, determined to recover every possible piece of evidence from the unforgiving wilderness. The helicopter once again proved essential. It airlifted the remains and all collected evidence out of the remote site, ensuring nothing was left behind. Without the skill, precision, and bravery of the flight crew and recovery team, reaching this hidden spot and bringing Travis home would have been nearly impossible. As the sun set behind the mountains, the search had finally reached its end, bringing closure to a long and difficult journey. The neon green T-shirt was just the beginning. Nearby, the team found a pair of shorts matching Decker's last known outfit. A distinctive bracelet was also recovered, one seen in photos of Decker. These personal effects were not random, they were unmistakably his. Sheriff Morrison confirmed the clothing and items matched Decker's description. While DNA would provide final proof, the circumstantial evidence was overwhelming. The location, the clothing, the bracelet, all pointed to Decker's fate in the wilderness. Each item was carefully documented, ensuring the story could be told with certainty. The puzzle was nearly complete. To understand the search for Travis Decker, you must first understand the crime. Decker, 32, was the father of 3 girls, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. On May 30th, 2025, he picked them up for a routine visit, but never returned them. Their mother, Whitney, reported them missing, and an Amber Alert was issued. Days later, the bodies of the 3 girls were found in a remote campground. They had been murdered. The community was devastated. The father who should have protected them had become their killer. Decker was now the prime suspect in a triple homicide. A nationwide manhunt began. The motive remains unclear, but the betrayal and loss were profound. Whitney Decker faced unimaginable grief. The search for Travis Decker became a quest for answers and closure. The tragedy haunted everyone involved. With Decker identified as the suspect, law enforcement launched a nationwide manhunt. He was considered armed and dangerous. His face was broadcast across the country. Tips poured in from Washington, Idaho, and beyond, each one investigated, most leading nowhere. The search focused on the rugged Wenatchee Mountains, where Decker was known to camp. Search teams, K-9 units, and aerial support combed the wilderness, facing brutal terrain and false leads. The effort was exhausting and demoralizing, stretching resources thin. For the victim's family, every day without answers was agony. The community lived in fear, desperate for closure. Investigators pressed on, determined to find Decker. The manhunt was a relentless pursuit of justice. Finding remains in the wilderness is a daunting task. Dense forest, thick undergrowth, and scavenging animals can quickly erase all traces. Remains and clothing blend into the environment, sometimes becoming invisible. Scavengers scatter bones and personal effects, complicating recovery. Even after the initial discovery, teams must search the area for more remains. Decomposition and nature's reclaiming power make recovery a race against time. The neon green t-shirt stood out only because of its color. Anything less would have been missed. Many missing persons are never found in such terrain. In this case, technology and persistence overcame nature's obstacles. The discovery was a rare victory against the wilderness. Even with the discovery, the case wasn't officially closed. Formal identification was needed. Science, not just suspicion. The remains were too decomposed for visual ID, so DNA testing was required. Samples would be compared to Decker's known DNA or that of a close relative. Dental records could also be used if available. These methods provide definitive proof but take time, days or even weeks. The family and community waited for official confirmation. It was the final step before closure. Only science could write the last chapter. The Travis Decker case shows how modern policing blends technology and teamwork. Traditional searches failed, but a drone's sharp eye found the crucial clue. Drones can scan areas unreachable by people, providing real-time imagery. This transformed the operation from a wide search to a targeted recovery. Technology saved time and reduced risk, but teamwork made it possible. Multiple agencies collaborated seamlessly, each bringing unique skills. The operation moved from discovery to recovery in hours. Persistence and strategy overcame nature's challenges. The tragedy was immense, but the search effort showed law enforcement at its best. In the end, it was a relentless commitment to answers and justice.